I have never seen such a lunatic. Surviving in the African wilderness under temperatures of around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. After all, they just want the bath water for the animals here to taste good. I still enjoy the stinging sensation of getting pricked in the eyes by thorns. If none of them, it must be because the grilled fish in Africa is delicious. This is the latest season of PUBG 2025. They survived in the ruins of Africa for 35 days. Now the main film officially begins. Welcome everyone to subscribe to my channel for weekly updates of this season's content. It was the third day. The Steven duo went out to explore. The hunting trap set yesterday was not triggered. The bait inside is still there. It seems that hunting is not so simple. The temperature during the day in Africa is very high. It burns my feet when I walk on it. There's an elephant near them. Wild elephants are very dangerous. The destructive power of elephants is even more astonishing. Steven was afraid that it would come to the shelter. This elephant is a potential threat to them. They're only about 100 meters apart. The water source is right beside. The elephant is unlikely to go far. Alicia is feeling very hungry now. She is already very eager to go hunting. They're checking the map in the shelter. The second water source is 1 mile away from them. They decided to move away from here. Elephants pose a great threat to them. It's also a good thing to leave earlier. The Waz group also went hunting early in the morning. They went to the location of the puddle to check the fish hook. If one can catch a fish, then there is hope for survival. Russell suffered from heat stroke right from the start. Have you never made any contributions? His teammates have all started to have complaints about him. He also came to help today. It's a pity that Waz didn't get any fish hooks. The bait is still there. This means that there is very likely no fish in the water. It would be even worse if there were no fish. Russell decided to make a fortune. They dragged mosquito nets through the water. If you can't catch any fish even like this, there's no hope. But they probably still can't catch any fish like this. I don't even know how to use fishing nets. The result was no surprise. There isn't a single fish. Waz decided to try again. Trawling like this is completely wrong. Waz felt a bit strange. The water here is clearly as deep as the waist. Why aren't there any fish? In the hot pond, the catfish is very likely under the silt. Other fish and shrimp might be in the cave. So they adjusted their strategy in time. Check the caves along the shore. Waz did indeed notice some anomalies. Russell handed him the fishing net. Waz was completely wrapped in a fishing net to block the cave. Sure enough, he caught 2 fish, although not big in size. But these 2 little fish gave them the confidence to survive. Waz continued to use this method to catch fish on the shore, and the effect is very good. Teal was already waiting to have the grilled fish. Waz caught more and more fish using this method. Russell no longer suffers from heat stroke either. Waz was so busy catching fish that he couldn't hold his hands. I caught more than 10 fish at once. These fish are enough for them to have a big meal. This trip was not in vain. This side of the Amba duo, she was checking the fish traps in the water, but gained nothing. They are planning to move today. Jeff filled the container with water. Everyone took their things and moved to another shelter. The water source is right nearby. Why did they leave? The temperature during the day is very high. There are many thorns on the ground. It's quite difficult to walk, but they still chose to move away from here. There is a ruin near the new shelter. Amba believes that this place is more suitable for survival. They arrived here very soon. This is a shelter built with iron sheets. After coming here, they didn't know what to do. Kelly took the initiative to express her feelings to Jeff. Jeff also took the initiative to admit his mistake. After all, the 2 are on the same team. A conflict occurred right at the beginning. The next month of getting along will be extremely torturous. Only reconciliation is conducive to the survival and development of their team. Kelly thought that Jeff was very mean in his words. Jeff also said that Kelly was very talkative. Only Amba was quietly enjoying the gossip by the side. She acts as an intermediary for the team. When conflicts arise among teammates, her situation then seemed very awkward. The only thing Amba can emphasize is that we are a team. Only when everyone is of one mind can we grow bigger and stronger. The Steven duo are still on their way. There are a lot of thorny jungles here. It not only pricks the feet, but also the body when walking. Alicia has been stabbed all over her body. I'm really fed up with everything here. Acacia trees are everywhere in Africa. These trees are covered with sharp thorns. Using these trees to build shelters can protect against African wild beasts. They soon found another water source. The water area here is very large. Frank saw fish in the water. It is obvious that the chance of catching fish here will be greater. There are many animal footprints on the shore. Frank thought this place was also a good spot for hunting. There happened to be a big tree nearby. This place is very suitable for waiting for prey. Frank couldn't wait to try hunting. He is very satisfied with this puddle. Suddenly, I found a lizard on the tree. There's no reason not to eat this food delivered to your door. Frank drew his bow and shot directly. The lizard climbed down along the branch. Steven picked up the axe and chased the lizard. These people are really fierce. The lizard fled into the water to hide. They are waiting on the shore. It all depends on how long it can stay in the water. They think that lizards can only dive for at most 20 or 30 minutes. I guess the lizard's heart would jump out underwater. A group of robbers were waiting on the shore, but the temperature during the day is too high. The puddle is so large an area. Stephen finally gave up. It's such a pity that the fat that got into your mouth slipped away. The West duo has been surviving in the ruins all along. There are powerful predators in this area. I met a lion on the first night. There's still crocodile footprints on the shore. They collected a lot of materials to reinforce the shelter. These large wooden frames are very useful. They were in a ruin. Wes and Kelly Vin discussed how to go to this shelter at night. They plan to build another small house here, resist natural factors and wild animals. The shelter of the West group should be the most perfect. They made ingenious use of the walls of the ruins. Not only does it save a lot of work for building shelters, and it can also shield from wind and rain. Miranda is in charge of the team's logistics. Wes and Kelly Vin are in charge of the main work. When building the shelter, Kelly Vin's hand was hit by a stone. Fortunately, I wasn't injured. Just lick it with your tongue and you can still keep working. Wes is the decision maker of this team. Now, they not only have shelters, and there is another room. This is definitely a perfect shelter. The stronger the shelter is, the more at ease one feels when sleeping at night. They no longer have to worry about the shelter. Now you can look for food with peace of mind. Amba and the others have started to change again. They gathered up their things and continued going out. The sun is so strong at noon. Where on earth are they going? I can't understand their plan at all. Did nothing. I've been walking back and forth on the road. At present, the team with the worst conditions is Amba's team. There are many thorns on the road. Amba accidentally got his eye hurt by thorns. It really hurts terribly. She tried hard to close her eyes. Enduring the pain, he continued on his way. It's not a good thing to hurt your eyes in such an environment. Amba felt his entire head burning hot. They actually returned to the shelter by the water source again. I really don't understand. Could it be that they carried so many things and walked such a long way? Is it just for going to another shelter for a meeting? I'm really impressed by this team. The sun is so strong at noon. They just sat outside doing nothing. Amba's eyes were pricked by thorns. She couldn't open her eyes. Finally, the doctor came to examine her. Amba told the doctor about the situation. My eyes hurt so much now that I can't open them. And my nose has also started to drip water. The doctor examined his eyes. It was found that there were no major problems. There are no visible scars on the eyeball. The doctor gave her an antibiotic eye wash. The normal situation will get better in a few days. If the injury does not improve, then Amba will be forced to withdraw from the competition. If Amba withdraws from the competition. So in the team, there are only two conflicts left, Jeff and Kelly. They're doomed not to hold on. It's not all unjust for Amba to have his eyes hurt by thorns. Who told him to go so far for the meeting? Can't we just sit here and talk? What is the significance of the journey they took today? At present, the Watts duo is doing the best. They stewed a pot of fish soup. The fish was extremely delicious. Have the soup after eating the fish. The slow-cooked soup is very thick and delicious. After having a hearty meal, Russell began to gradually regain his vitality. The Watts team was the only one to have a big meal. He is also the best performing player at present. Amba and the others are the worst. The two girls couldn't hunt any food at all. Amba's eye has been injured. Kelly leaned over to take a look and said, Amber's eyes are so beautiful. People really smile when they are speechless. Jeff didn't go hunting either. Kelly has been struggling with the conflict with Jeff. I see no hope at all in this team. No hunting means no food. The two girls were just sitting on the ground chatting. Kelly couldn't face Jeff. She wants to find a new shelter. When Jeff heard this, the tough man burst into tears. Amba could understand Kelly's thoughts very well, because she also had conflicts with her teammates in previous seasons. I believe that fans who often watch my videos all know. Amba was marginalized by his teammates in the previous season. I've been working all the time and supporting my teammates. In the end, I just couldn't stand it anymore. Choose to leave the team alone to survive. Now that she has met Kelly again, she has the same idea. So Amba didn't refuse either. Respect Kelly's thoughts. Amba wants to go and look for other teams with Kelly. Make sure Kelly safely joins the other teams. Amba's way of dealing with people and matters is already quite good. Finally, she advised Kelly not to think so much. Let's set off together tomorrow to look for other teams. Amba told Jeff about Kelly's idea. Kelly was sure she was going to look for other teams. Jeff had no reason to refuse either. Fans who have watched my first video all know. In fact, there aren't many conflicts between Jeff and Kelly. It was just that Jeff made fun of Kelly for being too talkative when catching lizards. I never expected it to develop to such an extent. From this one incident, it can be seen. Kelly is indeed very petty. Anyway, she hasn't made any contribution here. Is there no loss if one person leaves? The Steven team is preparing a hunting plan. He began to make fishing lines to go fishing. Elisa brought fishing line, but I didn't bring a fish hook. She wants to use the sharp thorns of the silk tree as fish hooks. Why do they want to make fish hooks with iron wire? Could it be that you didn't expect it? Elisa picked some spikes. Frank simply modified it with spikes. There are a lot of parts in the scrap car. They happen to use a thorn as a fish hook. Sometimes I really find it hard to understand their behavior. Whether it's thorns or scrap iron, being able to catch fish is good equipment. In the evening, the wise team began to rest very early. The temperature drops very quickly at night, although they have a very good shelter. But the fire outside does not provide warmth. A little past 2 o'clock in the morning, Waz and the others heard sounds outside the shelter. It sounds like the sound of trees breaking, but they can't see what kind of animal it is. In Africa, the only animal that can break down big trees is the elephant. Wild elephants are extremely terrifying. They could faintly see the elephant. It really looks too big, and the distance is very close. Teal felt very scared. Sure enough, the elephant came towards them. If elephants attack their shelter, there's a high possibility of life-threatening danger. Waz hurriedly began to make a fire, try to scare the elephant away with the firelight. Fortunately, it's still somewhat useful. The elephant was successfully scared away. It's the 4th day, so I went out to explore early in the morning. I saw elephant footprints on the ground. This looks very scary. They had a big meal yesterday. I could just lie flat today. There are also elephants around nearby, but they still chose to go out. They're exploring nearby. A fenced area was discovered. This area seems to be safer. Watts suggested collecting these iron wires. He wants to build a circle outside the shelter, used to prevent animals from approaching. This method is particularly effective in Africa. Enclose a safe zone with iron wire. Then a shelter was built inside. After the plan is made, they then began to collect the abandoned iron chains here. The sun is very strong at noon in Africa, and there are also lions nearby. They soon gathered a large circle of iron chains. Russell began to show symptoms of heat stroke again. I start to feel uncomfortable as soon as I start working. He is currently the least contributing. I just started working not long ago. Russell went back to rest. Teal was the first to have a complaint about him. Waz also expressed dissatisfaction. But there's nothing I can do when facing such teammates. Teal and Watts undertake all the workload. There is also a wounded person in the Amba group. Pus has already appeared in her eyes. It seems that Amba's eyes won't get better in the next 2 or 3 days. The probability of withdrawing from the competition is quite high. Teammates are having a conflict again and want to leave. Amba was still busy running around despite his injuries, but she knew that Jeff and Kelly didn't get along. So all Amba could do was to safely send Kelly to another team. Kelly got everything ready early in the morning. Amba checks the map, planned to go to other water source locations to look for new teams. They have to walk 2 miles forward. The thorns along the way are too numerous to count. There are also poisonous scorpions and venomous snakes. Amba soaked his fur, then set off with Kelly. Instruct Jeff to stay at home and keep watch. Jeff was worried about Ambo's injury. There is still such a long way to go. It's really hard on Amba. What did Jeff know that Ambo's departure meant? What if something unexpected happens? Amba might be about to withdraw from the competition. If Amba withdraws from the competition, then Jeff will have to face the upcoming challenges all by himself. She led Kelly through the thorny forest. I don't know if I can run into other teams. Wes went hunting in the morning. There are many animals drinking water on the shore in the morning. He should have come here to ambush before dawn in the morning. Wes wants to find a secluded place here. He is going to ambush the animals that come to drink water. Hunting in Africa is very difficult because the animals here are on high alert all the time. He is collecting hay under the tree. I want to set up an ambush point. Miranda made a hook by herself in the shelter. It should be intended for fishing. She caught another lizard, but is very small in size. This can be used as bait. Miranda and Kelly then came to the shore. They saw footprints on the ground. Miranda guessed that there should be crocodiles in the water. Could it be that they're trying to catch a big crocodile with a small lizard? Crocodiles are far more terrifying than they imagine. On this side of the Waz group, Russell has been sleeping in the shelter. Teal and Watts were working outside. They tidy up the safety fence with iron wire, working under the scorching sun all the time. Teal was drenched in sweat. During breaks, Watts began to tease Russell. I haven't done anything at all since the beginning of the game. I have been resting in the shelter. Is such a teammate really of no use? Every season, there are quite a few such laid-back players. Russell felt very guilty in the shelter. Teammates are working outside under the scorching sun, but Russell said, just get used to it. Sometimes I really admire these players. He panted in front of the camera with his eyes closed. Counting on my fingers, I realized he was coming. Suddenly, the whole person began to have an attack. What on earth is going on here? Starting to catch your breath without doing anything. The doctor believed that Russell was panicked. He kept asking Russell to try taking deep breaths. Scientific analysis of this is an emotional outburst caused by fear or anxiety. The doctor checked his heart rate. However, no symptoms were detected. A realistic performance came on. At the very least, there is a reason not to work for a week. I can survive in such a wilderness too. The final assessment result given to him by the doctor was, my current condition is very stable and I can continue to stay here. This might be exactly what Russell wanted. After all, it's a very good reason not to work. He also knew that he had only contributed 0.01%. But what does it matter? After all, we are a team. If you don't work yourself, someone else will. My teammates came back very soon. Russell told them the situation. The doctor said that his physical characteristics were still normal. But I can't work like you. Till's face turned black upon hearing this. What the hell is this going on? A person with a thin skin wouldn't say such words. But as teammates, Waz still holds his conscience and says nothing is more important than your health. Russell suddenly handed the bow and arrow to Watts. What's going on here? Why did you suddenly withdraw from the competition? Could this be a discovery of conscience? I really can't understand this scene. But Russell's departure, it has no impact on Watts and Teal. Russell became the first player to leave this season. Suddenly, one person was missing. Waz and Teal felt uncomfortable again. There was clearly one less teammate who had made no contribution, but felt much more difficult all of a sudden. If Amber and Kelly run into Watts and the others, isn't it just right? Although Waz and his team don't have a numerical advantage now, but they are still the strongest team. After all, I've had a meal of fish. Steven's team over here. They came to the shore together to fetch water. The footprints on the shore are very fresh. They lay in ambush together in the grass by the shore. This will take several hours. Frank used branches to disguise the surroundings. He is mainly responsible for hunting. Steven and Elisa chose to go fishing. They placed 2 fishing rods on the shore and then left. The rest was left to Frank to hunt alone here. I hope he can bring back food. I wonder when this wait will end. Amba and Kelly have been looking for new teammates. They have been walking for over an hour. As a teammate, Amba is really very loyal. It took over an hour to walk there. It means that it will take more than an hour to walk back. Amba felt his eyes burning like fire, but she still hopes to help her teammate Kelly find a new team. The sun is very hot at noon. They hid under the tree roots to rest. This bottle of water is their only source of water. After drinking, they continued their journey. At this moment, Jeff was alone in the shelter. He also plans to go to another shelter. Jeff has had the experience of being abandoned by his teammates. In previous seasons, it was always him who faced challenges alone. This time he could empathize. He is collecting items here in the ruins. Next, he might have to face the challenge alone, because he guessed that Amba might withdraw from the competition. Jeff picked up an iron frame to use as a bed. I collected some more iron sheets. Continue to improve the shelter. Is this shelter really safe? Wes had been waiting by the shore. No prey appeared for a long time. The bow and arrow in hand is always on standby. But there was no chance of launch at all. Miranda and Kellyvan have always been fond of fishing. It has no effect either. It would be better to just go into the water and catch fish. Milanda hasn't eaten for a long time. She feels hungrier and hungrier now. Although Wes's team has a perfect shelter, the teammates also get along very well with each other. But they couldn't get any food. Miranda began to take it anymore. Food is the hope for survival. If food cannot be obtained, they won't stay here for long. Anbois and the others have been walking for almost 2 hours. All around is desolate. There is no sign of anyone around, even on a smooth road. Even walking for 2 hours can wear one out. Not to mention that this is the scorching African wilderness. They heard someone's voice here. Anbois shouted loudly. Which team is near here exactly? It seemed that every team heard the sound. It turned out to be Wes and the others. The production team really knows how to edit the shots. Anbois successfully met the Wes duo. They all appeared very excited. Kellywin was even happier to see a beautiful woman coming over. In this wild region of Africa, I never expected to run into an old acquaintance again. Wes had lived with Anbois before. They can also be regarded as old lovers. They told each other about their experiences. Anbois just played the victim. Wes asked them why they had suddenly moved. It's only been a few days since the start. According to the previous rules, I didn't experience it so quickly. Wes invited them back to the shelter, although it's just a simple glass of water. But this was also the most luxurious hospitality of Wes's group. Wes asked them what on earth was going on. Kelly voluntarily explained the reason. He said that Jeff didn't like him. There are always conflicts when 2 people get along together. That's why she chose to leave the team. As the saying goes, it takes 2 hands to clap. If one only listens to one side of a woman's words, it's definitely not right. Wes saw through it at a glance. He knew this meant accepting new people. People have come all the way here. Accept her adding burden to your team. If you don't accept her, it would seem very heartless. In fact, everyone knows that Kelly is a minor player. But in the end, Wes took her in. It seems that Kelly has a new team. Ambo also decided to leave. Wes thought it would be very dangerous for Ambo to go back alone. But we still respect Ambo's wishes. After everyone hugged and said goodbye, Ambo then returned alone. Kelly joined the new team. Wes was particularly curious about what had happened to her in her original team. He was not quite convinced that it was caused by Jeff's conflict. Ambo walked back to the shelter alone. This walk is estimated to take more than 2 hours. Miranda is recuperating in the shelter. She reinforced the iron sheet of the roof with iron wire to prevent it from being blown over by a heavy rainstorm one day. She and Waz have been working. After having a full meal, I really felt energetic. They are building a new shelter. This shelter will serve as their permanent refuge. Steven and Elisa are collecting firewood. It's afternoon time in Africa now. Why don't they work in the evening? Insisting on working under such a scorching sun. They collected a car wheel hub. Put the wheel hub on the fire. This can control the fire. It is more efficient when boiling water. 3 people should drink at least 1 pot of water every day before obtaining the food. I drink water to satisfy my hunger every day. Frank was hunting alone by the water source. This will take a lot of time. A wild boar came here to drink water, but the distance is relatively far. If a wild boar could be hunted, that can last at least 2 weeks. Frank drew his bow and shot arrows directly, but unfortunately, it didn't hit. The distance difference is very far. Frank might have missed an opportunity. Over here with the West duo, Katie actually took the initiative to do the work. You can make soy sauce in the original team. I won't be a good princess. Come to someone else's team to do hard labor. Not only did she take on household chores, they also serve tea and pour water. Instead, Miranda lay there openly and honorably. Wes and Kellyvin are fishing on the shore. Now the population of the team is growing. Wes feels very stressed. He must do everything possible to get some food. Now there is a demographic advantage, and the advantages of the shelter are all very good. If enough food can be found again, there is no pressure at all in taking on a 36-day challenge. Kellyvin saw catfish in the water from the shore. He would rather stand and watch the play, nor did they take the initiative to catch it. It's no wonder these wild guys starve to death. These contestants really have no brains. Wes saw something different in the water. Asked Kellyvin if this is a crocodile. It seems to be a crocodile. If it were me, I would have gone hunting with a bow and arrow directly. Why are they either afraid or indifferent? Hit the head directly with a stick. Won't we be able to enjoy a barbecue feast now? These contestants are really too stupid. It's around 3 p.m. Amba is still on his way. She has been walking for over an hour. I'm really exhausted today. Plus, my eyes were injured. Sometimes, being a good person comes at a price. Jeff is here alone, perfecting the shelter. There's only one ruin around here. Why do they just want to live here? Jeff has already made up his mind to survive alone. Amba feels extremely painful in his eyes now. She could clearly feel her eyes twitching. Amba arrived at the shelter that Jeff had built, but Jeff had already gone out. The shelter has been well improved. He came back and saw the haggard Amba. I feel very bad in my heart. Amba is now a wounded person. To Jeff, it was just a burden. So Jeff wasn't happy to see Amba come back. Instead, he looked extremely anxious. Wes came to the ruins and continued to search for items. Every time I come to the ruins, I feel terrifying. It seems that this place has been burned by a big fire. I don't know if anyone has died. It's very likely that there will be ghosts here at night. Why don't they just build shelters right here at the ruins? A little over 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the doctor came to examine Amba's eyes. It came just in time. Amba lay on the bed, wailing. Ja felt pain even when he saw it. The doctor believes that Amba's eyes have been infected. This situation is very serious. Amba is likely to be forced to withdraw from the competition. Here, the doctor can only give her a simple cleaning. The longer you stay here, Amba's eyes became more and more serious. The doctor advised Amba to go to the hospital for a checkup. This means that Amba is going to withdraw from the competition. Her eyes do hurt a lot. Amba clearly felt the remaining thorns in his eyes. Jeff looked at it, not knowing what to say. Facing Amba's withdrawal from the competition. Perhaps Jeff was not feeling well either. But for the sake of the player's health, Amba must withdraw from the competition. Jeff lost 2 teammates in a row. It's really too tragic. Perhaps Jeff could join the Watts group. After all, Watts can still catch fish. It's really hard to survive here alone. What problems will the contestants encounter next? Look forward to the update of the next video episode. Like and subscribe to my channel. Keep watching the latest survival in the wild.